And boom, we're live. All right, episode 85, MMA Complete Podcast. Austin will be joining us soon. We are 2 days away from UFC 272, so we have a good amount to discuss today. The pod bet will be in the next, half an hour, give or take, depending on when Austin gets here. I will say this. The boys hit pretty big last week. We went undefeated for our picks. We actually parlayed all of our picks from last week into this week's pay-per-view. So if the winning's there, the winnings are big. Shout out to Fans Only Sports for giving us the platform to put it here. Thank you everybody from Ron Robert to Matt Joles and the whole Fans Only Sports network. Go check us out on our website. Go check out their Facebook, their YouTube page, which just recently got brought back to life. Had some technical difficulties there, but we are back on track. And go give us a follow on our Twitter page because we've been kind of doing really well on our Twitter page, which we always seem to do leading up to these pay-per-view events. And hopefully this one will be no different. A couple more disclaimers. We are having our live reaction stream, as we always do for every pay-per-view for UFC 272 this Saturday. We're going to start the pay-per-view we're going to start the live reactions, right around 10 o'clock in time for the main card. We will not be able to stream before that, but we will be tweeting about all of the fights going on. We do have a bunch of bets on the prelims and the early prelims, so we'll be able to get that out of the way. And make sure you give us a follow so you can stay tuned to what we're doing. We're going to be putting our bets on there. We're going to be giving you guys the pod bet. For our let's call them appreciated viewers that do stay in touch, and I don't just mean Dylan, Mark, Mike, Colby, Ethan, Tico, the people that have been on the show, but for our followers that we have been gaining over the last couple months. You guys know that our bets have been hitting really well lately. We have the pod bet every single pay-per-view, which has been, I want to say we're now 5 of the last 8 pay-per-views. We've hit our pod bet. 1 of 2 so far going into the new year. The only bet we did not get for UFC 271 was the under for Adesanya versus Whitaker. That fight went to a decision, and we thought it was going to be under 4.5. So that hurt a little bit, but we're not letting it fault us. We're not letting our confidence go down. We know this shit, and we've been doing really good on bets. So stay tuned so you guys can see what the pod bet is going to be for UFC 272 because it's a pretty good one. We do have, I want to say, 4 different legs for the parlay, and we usually go between 3 and 5. Mostly favorites, the cancellation and insurgence of Renato Moicano versus Rafael Dos Anjos did kind of mess up our plans because we did have Rafael Fiziev for most of the pod bet. We have a couple others, though, that we really think are locks. There's a couple fights on this card that, from a betting standpoint and the odds that they're getting, certain fighters, it doesn't totally make sense to bet on them. For instance, Umar Nurmagomedov's fighting Brian Kelleher, and he is minus 850, I think, the last time I saw. So, yes, I think Nurmagomedov's going to win. Am I completely sure of it? No. And I don't think that minus 850 is worth it. Unless you're doing like a 10-leg parlay just to get some great odds, which we did do, by the way. But yeah, it's going to be a good show. The pod bet's going to come in form. I can't wait for Austin to get here because he's the one that hypes it up. He's going to, I think, challenge me on 1 or 2 picks, so it'll make it interesting. And we will come to a conclusion by the end of this show tonight. So around 8:30, we will have the pod bet set in stone, and we'll be posting it to our Twitter and our YouTube page. Make sure you go give them a follow. Links are right here in the description. I'm going to take a quick commercial break before we really get into the thick of things. Austin should be here in 10 to 15 minutes, and we will get down to brass tacks. Get down to some money, get down to some bets, and we'll get down to a really good pay-per-view card that's coming up this weekend. I know there's no title fight, so nobody's really talking about it, but obviously the grudge match main event is a huge fight, and then you have a bunch of other really good fights, including Xiaonan Rodriguez, Elliot Ulanbekov, Jacoby Alexashuk, so it's going to be a pretty good card, and I can't wait for it. Make sure you do check out our live reactions starting 10 p.m. on Saturday. We're going to go through the entire main card. We're going to stick around for the main event, and hopefully we win some money, and hopefully you guys too, if you listen to what we're going to be saying, because I'm telling you, these bets have been rolling in. I'm going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to get back to the show. All right, episode 85 in the books. We are 4 months away from episode 100. We've been really trying to think of a couple things that we can do for that episode. Obviously, that's going to be around June, July, so it's going to be in the summer, so we might be able to do something outside, maybe do it at a gym, which would be really cool. Shout out to Legendary Boxing Gym. We've been trying to get back in there. Unfortunately, for all the COVID things, it's been hard for us to get out and do a show in an actual location, but our friends at Legendary Boxing Gym, from Todd Chattel to Jared Tillinghast, we've been trying to talk to you, and we've had a little bit of a separation, totally our fault, and I hope that we can get things back together, but I would love to sponsor, co-represent, do some stuff over there. I think that'd be a good idea for our episode 100. If not, we're going to have to maybe do it at the casino. I think that would be live. I think that would be lit. But that's for another time, just speaking out loud. We got to talk about UFC 272 today. We got to talk about the bets. We got to talk about all the great fights that we're going to see. But before we get into that, we did have a fight night last week that I just want to talk about briefly. I'm sure Austin will have a couple things to say about it. And the first thing that he'll say is that we pick winners, man. That's all we do. We pick winners. We pick overs, and we pick winners. So across the board on the fight night main card, we had 5 fights. We picked all 5 right. We only bet on 3 of them, but we did very well. We also got over-unders on all 3 of the top 3 fights, that being Islam Makhachev winning under 2.5. He won in like 3 minutes. Wellington Turman winning over, was it? No, it was under 1.5, and he got that. And then we had Priscilla Cachoeira winning over 2.5, and she won by decision. So it was a really great night for us, and we parlayed all those picks with fights coming up this weekend. So a little good, a little bad. Obviously, if we would have just made straight bets for the weekend, last weekend, we would have won money already, which I do believe that Austin might have done. But me personally, I parlayed everything with this upcoming pay-per-view. So if we do, fingers crossed, knock on wood, hit like we think we will over the pay-per-view, the cash out will be even better. We're looking at potentially our best winning weekend that we've ever had, and that's saying a lot because over the last couple months we've been doing very, very well, and this week could turn up even more. But yeah, Islam Makhachev was really the biggest story that happened last week. He absolutely decimated Bobby Green, as everybody thought he would. You know, Makhachev is just, he's the second coming of Khabib. That's really all you can say about it. Austin put me on before I even noticed this guy. He is the best grappler in the division, in a division that is currently being held by Charles Oliveira, who is the best jiu-jitsu artist maybe the UFC's ever seen. And he's not even the best grappler in his division. That's how impressive Islam Makhachev's been. And he's on a 10-fight win streak. Something noteworthy about Makhachev that we can segue into is that he had offered to step in for the RDA fight when Rafael Fiziev was tested positive for COVID. And both fighters were in negotiations with Dana White. And then it comes out today that Islam was the one that pulled out of the conversation, the negotiations, I should say. It wasn't RDA. RDA would have fought Makhachev, and Makhachev just didn't want to do it. Whether it be one reason or another, you can never be sure. I personally didn't think Makhachev should take the fight because he doesn't need to. I get that he was supposed to fight Dos Anjos last year, and it never pulled through, and that's why Makhachev fought Moises. I believe it was either Thiago Moises or Dan Hooker. It was Dan Hooker. And so, RDA was going to have, or Makhachev was going to try to get his revenge. He was going to try to beat RDA like he should have the first time. And then, for whatever reason, he pulled out. And I'm not dissing him. I'm not saying that it was a bad look for him, although that's what a lot of people are saying. They're saying Makhachev's running from RDA. I personally don't agree with that at all. Makhachev is a top 4, I think he's the number 3 ranked contender right now. He's on a 10-fight win streak. We know that Oliveira versus Gaethje is happening in June, and Makhachev definitely has the next shot. So if I were him, unless he needs the money for another fight, which I'm going to be bold and say that the very humble Dagestani man who is in the same gym as Khabib, who obviously has money, I think that Makhachev's not really fighting for money. I think he's fighting for legacy, and I think he's fighting to be the best. And if that's the case, I don't know why you would take another fight until you get a title shot. You've done everything you can. Everybody knows that you're going to get a title shot soon. You just have to wait it out. And so RDA didn't have a fight. And plus, by the way, Makhachev would be stepping in on 4 days' notice for a 5-round fight against a veteran who isn't of the caliber as Makhachev, but is still very dangerous. And he just said, let someone else do it. Let that be someone else's problem. And that someone else is Renato Moicano. Moicano stepped in, same thing. He fought, I want to say 2 weeks ago. Either 2 weeks ago or it was at the pay-per-view. Okay, so 3 weeks ago, Moicano beat Alexander Hernandez. He got a second-round submission. It was a really good Darce choke, by the way. Flattened Alexander Hernandez, who was the favorite in that fight. And Moicano steps into a 5-round fight with RDA at catchweight. It's at 160 pounds. It's not the lightweight threshold because Moicano is obviously out of camp. So they gave him that extra cushion to make sure he could make weight. And he's stepping in 4 days' notice to fight 5 rounds against RDA, who hasn't fought in a long time but is a very skilled veteran, a former lightweight champion in his heyday. It's a really interesting fight. Moicano is the underdog, but the odds are very close as of right now. And RDA, to be honest with you, we had Fiziev very solidly against Rafael Dos Anjos. And for one, it was because RDA has not been active. He's a lot older. And Rafael Fiziev's stand-up game is really impressive. Now, RDA obviously has great boxing too, but his jiu-jitsu is usually where RDA likes to lean. And I just think that Fiziev was a terrible matchup for Dos Anjos from an athletic standpoint, from a cardio standpoint, this and that. And now you got Moicano, who is arguably a similar style as Fiziev, except Moicano is much better on the ground, which brings the clash of styles a little differently, because now you have Dos Anjos, who is going to probably take the fight to the ground because Moicano has a bigger reach. Dos Anjos was probably training a lot of jiu-jitsu in case he got in trouble against Fiziev anyway. And now he goes against a guy who has jiu-jitsu practitioner, and he has chokes, and he has arm bars. I think that this fight is going to... I have Moicano. I really think that he's going to be able to step in 4 days' notice, and unless RDA is super impressive and is able to take this fight 5 rounds, I think Moicano is going to be able to finish him in the first couple of rounds. I think it's going to be like a 3rd-round finish. Maybe a choke. He could TKO him for all I know. As of 2 days ago when I put in my first round of bets for the week, the over-under was not put out for that fight, and I don't expect it to be. I don't expect... All bets that we have are from Sportsbook Rhode Island, by the way. I don't expect the over-under to come out for it either, which is shitty because... Oh, they do. Over-under is 4.5 rounds. So I am going to take the under in that. I think I am going to take the under. Do they have all the over-unders out? They do. Oh, boy. They don't have all of them. They just have the top 3 fights over-under out. Sportsbook Rhode Island is so finicky about the over-unders. All right, so Colby versus Jorge Masvidal is 4.5 over-under. Moicano versus Dos Anjos is 4.5 over-under. And then we have Bryce Mitchell Barboza, which is 2.5 over-under. Those are all expected. Honestly, I would have thought that Dos Anjos Moicano would be 3.5. I thought it would be 3.5 because I thought that RDA would be a bigger favorite as it was because Moicano's coming in on 4 days' notice. He did look super impressive against Hernandez, but Dos Anjos has been training for 3 months for this fight. 2 months. And Moicano was out of camp for a week and a half, 2 weeks before he really got into the negotiations. And shout out to Renato Moicano for taking the fight. I'm sure RDA is super grateful that he's going to be able to get a fight because obviously if Fiziev would have pulled out and no replacement, nobody's getting paid. And Moicano is going to get paid for his efforts. He's going to make a quick little buck. He's going to be the second fighter in the UFC to make his second appearance this year after Bobby Green did a similar stunt last week. So Moicano looking to start off the year 2-0. I really think that he will. I think that RDA does not have a great shot. And I think that his time is up. I don't agree with how high Rafael Dos Anjos is in the rankings anyway. I think he's massively overrated. And, it was a really good idea of him to pull out of the first fight against Makhachev. If that second fight would have happened, I think the RDA would have probably been retired after he got decimated by Islam. Elsewhere, while I'm still here, fight night last week, we had Wellington Turman beat Misha Cirkunov by second round submission. It was a decent fight. Not a whole lot shit happened. Turman got him in an armbar. And Cirkunov is a pretty decent grappler, especially for someone of his status in the UFC. He's been around a long time, and Turman kind of mopped the floor with him. So it was a really good showing. And it was a great showing from both guys, really, because Cirkunov was winning the first round, and then Turman won the second round, and he was just better on the ground. We had Priscilla Cachoeira beat Ji-Yeon Kim in a fight that was very questionable. Very questionable. I know a lot of people on Twitter, like MMA Betting Advisors, Weasel, a bunch of people that we collab with on our Twitter, have been saying that Ji-Yeon Kim should have won. And looking back at that fight, there's an absolute argument for it. I think Cachoeira did a good amount of work on the ground. I think the control time was there for her. It was really up in the air, but I can see how people think Kim should have won. Cachoeira did win by decision, split decision, very close. Actually, it was a unanimous decision, which made it even more questionable, because if that wasn't a split decision, then I don't know what a split decision victory looks like. Arman Sarukian beat Joel Alvarez in a battle of the number 15 spot of the lightweight rankings. So Sarukian continues his win streak, goes to 6 wins in a row in that division. He's going to be looking to really... I think that Sarukian has the potential to make it into the top 10. I don't know who he's going to fight next. A fight between him and Matus Gamrot looks like it would be really interesting. Joel Alvarez gets his first loss in his last 5 fights, so he's right there still in contention, but that fight pushes him out of the top 15. And last, you had Armin Petrosyan beating Gregory Rodriguez by unanimous decision, middleweight division. Armin Petrosyan, 7-1 now, looks like he could have a really good shot of being ranked one day. We're going to need to see 1 or 2 more wins. And until then, Nah, I was gonna say something about Petrosian, but I'll leave it at that. He's really good, skilled striker, but he needs a little bit more to his game as well. All right, now we can get into UFC 272. So this card is going to be the best card of the year without a title fight, for sure. You rarely ever see any more UFC pay-per-view without a title fight not being headlined by Conor McGregor. You just never see it anymore. And this fight is really one of the only fights that you could potentially do that with, because the grudge match between Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal is going to be so hyped up, it's crazy. You've already seen, if anybody that's been looking at social media, this has been the most promoted pay-per-view in the last 6 months. Since the second, or the trilogy between McGregor and Poirier, this has been the most hyped up or marketed pay-per-view that the UFC's had. And Dana's sitting back loving it, because while he's on Twitter doing these recipe videos of cool desserts that he's doing in his kitchen, he's getting Colby and Jorge doing all the advertising by themselves. They're just talking shit, and they're doing interviews on their own. They're going on Cowherd. They're doing this and that. And there have been reports, Brett Okamoto, UFC ESPN analyst, tweeted recently that this gate looks like it's going to be upwards of 6 million. Looks like it's going to be a top 10 attended event in UFC's history. And it's without even a title fight. And it's because of the rivalry between Colby and Jorge. What's up, buddy?
Hey. On yet?
Oh, yeah. I've been going. Half an hour. So, I'm good talking about bets. I don't want to make this whole thing about the bets.
Okay. So we're not talking about bets anymore?
Yeah. No, we are. I want to have a medium of it. I don't want to just be talking numbers for half an hour.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of good fights on this card.
Yeah. $5 to pay out $6.85.
Okay. I have a couple 10 legs.
Yeah. I hope one of them hits, bro. I hope one of them hits.
All right. Well, I was just talking. I had a little segment about how Brad Okamoto just tweeted a couple hours ago about how this pay-per-view, the gate, is looking like it's going to be close to 6 million, which is kind of crazy. That's like the
6
amount
million?
Yeah.
Pay-per-view buy?
No, not pay-per-view buys, but money made off pay-per-view.
Oh, okay.
So, then that's just so far. And then they're looking at a top 10 attended event ever. And it's in a pay-per-view without even a fucking title defense. It's kind of crazy.
Interesting.
Have you been looking on social media? Have you been seeing all of the advertising that's been going on?
Not really, no.
Masvidal and Colby have both been doing interviews like crazy, talking so much shit about each other.
Yeah.
You know, the
They're trying to
embedded
hype it up.
series that the UFC's been doing for the last couple years has their background story from fighting in the streets of Miami to being American Top Team's two biggest fighters to getting kicked out to them bringing back Masvidal and not bringing back Colby, this and that. How they're both
roommates.
Right. And they go from brothers to bitter enemies, like WWE style. Like, this is really like a fucking
Yeah, they're not enemies.
heel.
Though. They're doing this just to sell the fight.
No, yes and no. I think
I don't
that
think
there
they're
is some
enemies.
credence behind this. Masvidal is making claims that his striking coach from the time before he was at American Top Team, before he was in the UFC,
Yeah.
he's had the same coach for like 25 years. 20 years, whatever. He introduced him to Colby. Colby started using him as a striking coach for 5 years and never paid him. And that's why Jorge apparently let him go. He's getting pissed, and that spawned the rivalry. That was a couple years ago. Since then, Colby won an interim title and says that Jorge is jealous of him, and that's really what got us to where we are now.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I just think it's a really cool dynamic. I think the rivalry's a really good sell, and I think that's the reason that this pay-per-view was able to be without a title shot.
Yeah, I think it's a good sell. RDA fighting Menciado, Moicano. Yeah, what do you think about that?
I think Moicano's gonna win.
You think Moicano's gonna win?
I do.
Dude, I don't got faith in RDA, man. I really don't. But
I think he's
Dylan
so
does.
overrated.
Dylan. I think he's so overrated too. I think Dylan's confident in him, but I think Macchiano can pull this upset off, and I think it benefits him more with the short notice than
I
it
don't know
does
about
RDA.
that. I think
If he's been training, which I'm
I'm
assuming that he is training all the time.
because he was 3 weeks out. He fought UFC 271, Renato
Yeah.
Moicano. He beat Hernandez by a second round submission.
Yeah.
And the reason I like Moicano in this fight is the difference in styles between Fiziev, who was supposed to fight Dos Anjos in the beginning, and Moicano is really different. Moicano is a stand-up fighter, or he's a jiu-jitsu fighter.
I want to show you that.
He's a jiu-jitsu fighter who can stand, rather than Fiziev, who's a boxer that can go on the ground.
Yeah.
What do you think of the fight?
Man. I think Macchiano can pull it off, man. I don't really know much about Moicano, whatever. I think RDA. Like, yeah, I basically said what I thought before. I'm not going to change my view. I think he's overrated. I think he hasn't had a fight in a while, and I think this whole Islam Makhachev step down to fight him. I think it's all bullshit. I think that's just to get
Dana
Islam
came
Makhachev.
out and said it.
Yeah, well, Dana will say fucking anything, like anything.
He will say
don't
anything
buy
to
it.
sell fights, but I don't know. I kind of buy it. I think Makhachev had no reason to step into that fight. Like, why would you if you were him?
Who? Makhachev?
Yeah. Why would you go fight
Because if you
RDA?
beat him, then you fight the champion next. Now you got to fight Beneil Dariush.
Well, I think he gets a championship fight in his next fight anyway. And to
Dana-
top it all off,
well, to contend that, Dana White came out and said that his next fight's Beneil Dariush. Because he stepped down from...
So Gaethje Oliveira is already scheduled for June.
Yeah.
The lightweight title, that's happening. Makhachev's not getting the next shot. That's already decided.
I don't
means
think he is.
Which means the next title fight would either be... It's going to be late 2022 or early 2023. That's the next time. If Oliveira beats Gaethje, which I'm pretty sure Oliveira's going to beat Gaethje, the next fight would be a couple months out. So do you think...
Gaethje loses last fight?
Did Dana come out and say that Makhachev's going to fight Dariush?
Yeah, he said that.
Really?
He has to say that. Yeah, he has to. He has to fight Beneil Dariush now.
That's interesting. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think that he just wants Makhachev to be active. I think that's what that's really about. If Makhachev doesn't fight for a couple months and just waits, I don't see why he wouldn't just get a title shot. I mean, he's not fighting for money. We know that. He's not in it for that. He's trying to get the belt. What about Makhachev versus McGregor?
Yeah, that's Makhachev. It's an easy Makhachev win. It's so easy.
I don't think we see him again.
I would hammer Makhachev in the under.
Who do you got in Colby versus Masvidal? I didn't even ask you.
Colby. Not even second guessing it. And I think over 4.5 is a lock.
I'm not so sure. I'm gonna bet the over. I don't know if I call it a lock. By the way, two other over-unders came out. 4.5 for Dos Anjos versus Moicano.
Yeah.
I like that under.
I like that over.
And 2.5 for Barboza Mitchell.
Well, if Moicano wins, then it's gonna be under. Yeah. I would do under in that.
2.5 for Barboza Mitchell came out too.
Yeah.
No other over-unders are gonna be.
What's the number on that?
Minus 120. Both of them.
Sucks that you can't parlay it yet. It's so lame. I don't know why
Yeah, I
they're
saw
doing
that the other day. I was trying to do it on the actual app. The sportsbook doesn't even have the odds for next week's event either. You can get it on the app, but you can't get it in the actual casino.
For next week's event, I bet on it.
Did you bet on it at the casino?
Yeah.
Oh, so they must have just put it on yesterday. This is what you...
Yeah, put $25
Can
down.
can I tell
Say
you
it?
something?
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
You have Alexander Volkov.
Love him.
I am hammering Tom Aspinall. Hammering. Tom Aspinall is the best prospect in the heavyweight division. 11-0.
Alex Volkov, dude. He's
a big boy.
He's a big boy. He's got experience, man.
6'7", 240. He's a lanky motherfucker. I think Tom Aspinall knocks him the fuck out, though. That kid's really good.
We'll see.
Other than that, I love Makayev. I love Patty. Obviously, I love Kevin Holland and Colby. And Umar Nurmagomedov. I'm not putting him on any more tickets. I'm not. Dude, the number's not worth it. I don't think he's a lock. I know he's the Nurmagomedov.
No, man, he's a lock.
I'm
not putting him on
He has a good
That means
chance.
you put him on a lot.
I have like 13 tickets that are still good right now from last week, and I put more tickets in yesterday. Mm-hmm. And he's probably on like 5. He's on a decent amount. I got him at better odds. I got him at like minus 500.
Yeah, I got him on.
Everybody's been hammering him though.
Oh yeah,
hammering him. I have some shit on Brian Kelleher.
I have big bets. This week that I survived last week. I know this ain't all about bets.
Yeah, no, that's.
But none of them. I think I threw out one, and I did hit on one dude that I found it the other day. Cashed $150.
Nice.
$20 ticket.
There you go.
But a lot of these are like a couple off to win. I had a lot of Terrence McKinney, man.
I did not think that he was going to win. I'm very happy that I listened to him about that.
And the under.
I'm not sure if I had the under on any.
I got that one still, my big one, and the Fiziev one's not on here, so that changes the odds.
Yep. I don't think it's going to change that much, though. He was minus 240.
I had Islam in the under. Now I just need Kobe, Holland, and Umar. $100 to win 600.
Kevin Holland's number is shot up almost as much as Umar Nurmagomedov's.
Oh yeah, dude. I got him at
Kevin
240.
Holland. Me too. And now he's at like minus 320.
Yeah.
Did you put anything on Masvidal?
I think Kevin Holland under 2.5 is a lock. If it is under 2.5, under 1.5,
There's, I don't think the over-under's going to come out.
Oh, it'll come out. It'll come out 100%.
They just released the over-under for Dos Anjos Moicano and Barboza Mitchell, and they haven't done for any other fight.
Yeah, it'll 100% come out.
Have you looked at like any of the other prelims in this pay-per-view?
Yeah, we can talk about the Jan fight. I think that's a good underdog if there is to pick one, and I think the Greg Hardy one. If there were 3 dogs to pick, it would be the women's fight's my top one.
Yan Jianan
or whatever. I can't say whatever. Yan Jianan. Well, you said it wrong the first time then. And then, because that girl's only 24, dude. She's not, like, anything, like, special. She's unproven.
Marina Rodriguez is really good, though. She's on a
24.
She's on a 3-fight win streak. She beat Mackenzie Dern in her last fight by a knockout, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Mackenzie Dern. Who's that? Who the hell is that?
Top 5 flyweight ranked.
Exactly, who's that? And I think, Edson Barbosa could pull it out of his fucking ass or pull a cat out of his hat. I think that fight could go either way.
You say he might pull a cat out of his hat?
Yeah, right out of his hat, bro. He could.
I don't know about that fight. I have stayed away from that. I put Bryce Mitchell on one 10-leg parlay.
Yeah.
But I have not touched that fight. I think it's a weird clash. I think if Mitchell has to stand, if he can't get takedowns, he's going to get fucked up.
Yeah, I have Bryce Mitchell on a lot of these. I don't have to sweat one. I'm just realizing I don't have to sweat a couple picks on these big tickets. So, I'm kind of bummed out about that. I need to get a big payout going. So what's the pod bet? Like, we haven't even discussed the pod bet yet.
I know.
And it's 7:45. Like, well, this is late.
It's actually 7:36.
Oh,
That clock's
whoa.
so fast.
Excuse
well,
me.
I got a couple ideas. It's really going to depend on if we can put over-unders on the pod bet, if they're going to allow us to parlay them.
They will.
So,
They have to.
we know we're doing Colby.
Yeah, Kobe. Holland.
We know we're doing Holland.
I'm cool with not putting the Magomedov on there. I'd be questionable.
There is 2 other fights that I couldn't fit on this.
I like the under 2.5 on a Magomedov fight, though. We don't have to.
I do too. If that comes out, I like that too. Tim Elliott versus Tagir Ulanbekov. I know you probably don't know either of those
I know
guys.
Tim Elliott. Yeah.
Tim Elliott, I think, could win. That's a possible pod bet entry for me.
No. Absolutely not.
Okay. You want to
Absolutely not.
do Colby?
Yeah. You just circle him.
Yeah.
Now I like the over 4.5,
I know
bro.
you do.
I
know
do,
you do.
and I'm gonna bet on it either way. So
I think that there's a very real shot somebody gets knocked out here. You know, I don't want to be gun shy after the Adesanya Whitaker fight because we got that wrong. But listen, Masvidal had never gotten knocked out until he just lost to Usman. First time he's ever gotten knocked out. Who knows how that can affect him? Could he have more of a glass chin? Probably not.
no,
But maybe. That's
No.
that's not unreasonable. He's 38 years old. He's getting
I think
older.
he'd be more hesitant. Could pace more. He's not gonna go.
But
in as
Colby's not
much.
a
Kobe's gonna wrestle him.
right. And if he could pick him apart on the ground, possibly get a TKO, I could totally see that.
I can't see that because
I think if Masvidal wins, it's by
Usman
knockout,
couldn't even
by
do
the
that.
way.
Oh yeah, obviously Masvidal ain't winning by anything else but knockout, and I don't think he knocks him out. Kamaru Usman could have knocked out Kobe with a broken jaw, dude. And
Yeah, he
couldn't
did.
He couldn't finish him. He didn't knock him out.
Yeah, he did. Well, he TKO'd him. He finished him in the 5th round.
Okay, in the 5th round, which would
Right.
be the over. Yeah, I don't see.
I hate these fucking over under 4.5s, man.
Like the over.
Under 4.5 for Dos Moicano.
I like the over in that, and that's only a 5-round fight because it was in contract because
Yeah,
he
it was supposed to be the main
a
event of a fight night.
Yeah.
So you want to do? What are we doing?
Under.
Under? Okay. Colby, Kevin Holland.
Next week's card.
Next week cards,
Let's
Ankalaev.
All right, hang on. This is interesting because I didn't even do this.
I got Ankalaev.
March. So we got. Oh, you don't have Dustin Jacoby on here.
Yeah, Jacoby, Alexashuk, and Elliot Ulanbekov are the 2 fights. I personally am not putting Jacoby or Alexashuk because I kind of like Alexashuk on the pod bet. I know Jacoby's
On the pod
favorite.
bet? He's
Yeah.
plus 170, bro. On the pod bet it's like locks of the lock.
That's what I mean. No, well, because
He's
I
not a
know you
lock.
like Jacoby. I'm just saying I don't want to put that on my pod bet. Next week's card, Ankalaev, Santos.
Holy shit, they got March 19th on here too, and March 12th?
March 19th is Paul Craig at plus 145, by the way.
Alright, so.
Yeah, you know Patty Pimblett's fighting the 19th. He's not fighting
Yeah,
the 12th.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they only have the 19th that when I went listed. Alright, so we got Kevin Holland. Bear with us, folks. Kevin Holland. Can't put the under on there. Which kind
Follow us on our Twitter. Go tell us what you guys are going to be betting. Once we finish up this pod bet, we are going to post on our Twitter what we're going to do. Maybe even hit the casino tonight. All right, so I'm just talking out loud. Next week, my locks are Ankalaev, Drew Dober. No, that's not a lock. Miranda Maverick is.
Dan Hooker's fighting on the 19th too.
Yep. He's fighting
Arnold Allen.
Yep. And I like Arnold Allen in that.
I ain't touching that.
Who's the underdog?
Allen.
Allen is. Ooh. Ilya Tuporia is fighting. That's right. He took a short notice fight against Jai Herbert. Minus 370.
Yeah.
Makhayev's a huge favorite against Corey Durden.
Magomed Ankalov's fighting Thiago Santos.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Thiago Santos is gonna fucking lose, bro.
Yeah.
He's gonna lose.
100%.
He's getting taken down to the ground like he did with Islam Makhachev. Yo, Ricky Glenn. Okay.
Ricky Glenn Drew Dober's a really good fight. It's a really
Ricky
good
Glenn might win that fight. Now, quote me on this. Joe Rogan, big Ricky Glenn fan. I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan, biased opinion, but Joe Rogan knows what he's talking about when it comes to MMA. He says Ricky Glenn is an unknown prospect. I've bet on Ricky Glenn before when he was plus 120, and he knocked the dude out in 29 seconds first round. Easiest bet in my life. He's plus 200 here versus Drew Dober. Drew Dober, unproven. Ricky Glenn is going to knock him out. Mark my words. Plus 200. Plus 200. I like that. That's a steal.
By the way, Colby Covington's odds have come down.
I love it.
People are hammering Jorge.
They're not hammering. I just don't think anyone was betting on the fight.
The numbers shifted a couple weeks ago at first, just like 10 points. And now he just went down another 30. Alright, so for the next couple weeks, I have some locks here. I got Colby. I got Kevin Holland.
Got that.
I have Magomed Ankalaev. I have Ilya Tuporia. Miranda Maverick.
Don't have that one.
And Patty Pimblett.
Have that. I have Kevin Holland, Colby Covington, Patty Pimblett, Ankalaev, Ilya Tuporia.
Yep.
I'm not putting girls' fights on the fucking pod bet anymore.
Why not?
Cause
We're good with women's fights.
No, we're
Casey
not.
O'Neill.
Okay, what happened with Jack Hermanson?
Okay, you're talking. That wasn't even a
one
pod
time,
bet.
And I always lose. That was a pod bet.
It wasn't. That was a fight night.
I
That
know.
was
I know.
Yeah.
I know. That was like a fight night pod bet fight night.
Okay. Yeah, that was the most confident I've ever been on a bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't go well. Yan Jianan got fucked up by Carla Esparza.
And now she's gonna bring it
and
back.
That's why I like Xiaonan in that fight. Because she fought Carla Esparza, who's a wrestler, and got taken down and fucked up. Now she's fighting Marina Rodriguez, who's a striker. And
it's tough for me to put her on like $30,
I know,
not $30, but like, or three.
But those
bets.
odds would make it so worth it.
Bro, she pulls it out of her hat, bro.
She pulls a cat out of her hat.
Yeah,
Ooh.
bro.
By the way,
I think she could. I think there needs to be at least a couple upsets. Okay.
Right.
Jacoby could lose. Jan could win, and Bryce Mitchell could lose. Greg Hardy too. Greg Hardy. There's
you're gonna call me crazy. Jorge could win, man.
No, I'm not saying he couldn't. I just think Kobe's wrestling.
There's a lot of bets, dude. We could make some really interesting parlays for the next 3 weeks. I'm so happy that these actually came out. But yeah, for the pod bet, are we gonna add?
So this 5.
Are we gonna add
this 5-team Futurama pod bet? Are we hammering that? Put 100 on it. It's plus 2.
Colby, Holland, Ankalaev, Pimblett, and Tuporia. What is it? What's the
plus 244. That seems like a great.
I know they're all huge favorites. I know.
Lock. Colby's the only if, bro. Colby's the only iffy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He really is the only if. All right, so are we just gonna put like a fucking rack down on it? You might as well.
Bro, I don't have. I need to win these NHL picks tonight. I ain't going to the casino. I gotta win these.
I hit some NBA bets last night.
Yeah.
I got the Suns and the 76ers.
Nice. That 76ers. That was a crazy game.
All right, so
hit the over in that.
So, before we get into the pod bet, before we finish it off, let me hear your picks for all these fights.
My picks? I'll tell you right now.
You got Colby.
Tell you right now, right here, right off the ticket.
Do you have Dos Anjos or Moicano? Dos Anjos has been in training camp for 2 months. Moicano just got off a fight 3 weeks ago.
I got Moicano. I don't like RDA, dude.
I don't either.
That's why when Dylan texted Tico or something like. I think, or maybe I misheard Tico, or Tico said it wrong. He's like, "Oh, Garvo backed me up that RDA is gonna win." I was like, bro. I don't think that. I don't think that at all.
Obviously, the advantage he has of having a training camp versus a 4-day notice is significant. But like RDA is old. You know, his only win in the last like 4 years is against Paul Felder, and that was his retirement fight.
Yeah. So I got a $5 lay here, 10 teamer. I got Dustin Jacoby winning, Jan, Bryce Mitchell, Kevin Holland, Moicano, Kobe, Umar, Greg Hardy, Maria Agapova,
Yeah, you said that right.
Devontae Smith.
Mhm.
Yeah, the wide receivers.
Yeah, the
Devontae
Philly
Smith.
wide receivers. in the UFC, yeah.
That's it. That's my 10 teamer.
I have a 10 teamer too. I think I have Tim Elliott on mine, and I might have Alexa Shuk on it.
Mm.
I put like 3 different 10 teamers. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have Spivak on all my 10 teamers though. I don't have Greg Hardy.
Yeah.
I almost want to add Spivak to the pod bet, but I'm not sure about it, and you gotta have locks. So.
Yo, Greg Hardy could just hit a right hand from God, dude, and knock him out.
Spivak is probably gonna take him down early though.
Oh, he's a wrestler. Oh, he's gonna win.
He's not a wrestler per se, but he can wrestle, and I think that everybody who fights Greg Hardy from now on just knows that you're just gonna take him to the ground. Like, why wouldn't you? All right, so on this 5-team parlay that we have, you don't want to add Miranda Maverick to it? I like. Bless you.
She'll probably win, but dude, she just lost her last fight.
Yeah, she did.
No.
She was undefeated before that. Who was I saying I wanted to add? Wow, if you add Jan to this pod bet, that makes it a lot better. Nurmagomedov. Yeah, no, we're not adding Nurmagomedov. It's no reason.
Well, you
to.
can't add the under 4.5 Dos Anjos, and I mean,
why are they doing that this time? I don't get it.
we don't really have a pod bet for this pod, huh?
There's a lot of good fights, and I don't know who's going to win. I think this is going to be one of the most entertaining cards of the fucking year, dude. I'm not kidding. Like, all of those main card fights, besides Kevin Holland.
Well,
I think Kevin Holland is the biggest lock on this card. Like,
yeah.
I kind of want to put...
Remember the last time you said that? Like that chick?
Which one?
Jan.
That was the last... Dude, that was months ago.
Yeah, no, but that's...
It was
You were like,
months
the lock of the century.
But, like... You know...
I'm gonna blow my nose again. Sorry, people.
Kevin Holland is the only lock on this card.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
I think I don't know.
I guess Nurmagomedov's up there too.
Dude, I like the over 4. I don't know why you don't like the over 4.5 in that shit, dude.
For what, Kobe Masvidal?
Yeah, I really don't know why.
I like it, but it's got to be locks. I want to do
it's
locks.
a lock to me. Well, it's not really a lock. Yeah, I know. Hey, man. If we wanted to up the odds, we'd pick the winner of Barbosa Mitchell. Now, who do you think wins that fight? I think Mitchell wins that fight.
I think Mitchell wins too.
And I think it's a semi-almost lock, like 90%. So if you want to ride that out.
I mean, it would help our case for this actual pod bet. I like doing these parlays of multiple weeks, but at the same time, when I do a pod bet, I would rather have like it all in one night.
No, obviously. Well, yeah, that's the point of the pod bet.
Right, exactly. So, like, Colby plus the... Oh, you can't even add those, right? Colby, Kevin Holland, who's, by the way, his number has jumped up just as we've talked in the last 20 minutes.
People listen to us.
Bryce Mitchell. Yeah, Colby, Holland, and Bryce Mitchell are the only ones we got on this card. Plus 182.
With Bryce Mitchell on it?
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have the under 4.5 either.
Right.
You want to put Moicano on there?
No. I almost want to put Xiaonan on there. I just want to see what the odds are with Xiaonan. Goes from 182 to plus 802.
That ain't worth it to me. I was
That's where
expecting like
that's where
1,200.
That's where the 50.
No way.
That's worth the 50.
It's worth the.
Xiaonan's the only sweat.
It's worth a
sweat,
25,
though. That's a
dude.
sweat.
25 to win 200. Yeah, I think that's worth it.
That's the only other people I fucking feel confident in. People have been hitting RDA over the last couple hours too. His numbers jumping up.
Feel like RDA, huh?
Yeah.
It's surprising. His number is jumping up.
Dude, but I don't think it's too surprising. Like Moicano has a 4-day notice for a 5-round fight. If RDA just plays it safe, Moicano's gonna be gassed by round 4, and then he can just pick him apart. That's got to be what he's planning on doing. That's what I would do. And of course, I'm the ultimate strategist.
Yeah, you're the number one MMA fighter in the world.
Right.
Yo, Kevin Holland, Colby Covington, Magomed Ankalaev, Bryce Mitchell. Plus 244.
You want to add Topuria to that and Patty?
Topuria. Hang on, it took me a while to find it before I could find
March 19th.
it. It is March 19th. Topuria and Patty.
Also 19th.
Plus 453.
Is that 6 legs?
500 would pay 2,200.
That's 6 legs. You got Kobe, Holland, Mitchell, because we're at Mitchell now, Ankalaev, Topuria, and Patty. Ugh.
500 to win 2,200.
We don't like any underdogs, man. We have not been picking underdogs lately. You know that?
I have been. We've been picking them, just not putting them on the pod bet.
That's what I mean.
Well, we did. We put Brunson. Oh, we didn't put him on the pod bet.
No,
we did
put him
pick,
on the pod
but
bet.
we picked them.
Yeah.
Imagine if we
didn't
didn't
work out well.
You know,
Dude, what the fuck happened to that? He got gassed out after 1 round.
he's a pussy. Not
He
a
was
pussy,
doing this
but he was
fucking-
like,
He was
Yeah,
doing this
dude,
stance
work
the
on
whole
your
time, and then he
cardio.
got gassed after 1.
I was also thinking about doing like we don't have to do pod bet. We could do a bunch of $50 parlays too, and a pod bet.
Pod bet though.
No, we could pod bet and some $50 lays. So
Yeah, that's what I'm coming
Moicano, Holland, and Mitchell. What's that? But I like this 16 leg.
I have.
Can we write down the 16 leg somewhere?
I remember it.
Okay.
I have a bet somewhere that has Brian Kelleher and Jorge Masvidal on it, and it's like stupid odds for 2 people. It's like plus 1,000 for 2 legs.
Plus 1,000.
Well, Kelleher is what? I got him at plus 550, and Jorge's been like plus 210, 240.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not putting money on Jorge.
Dude, I think there's a shot he knocks Kobe out, man. I really do.
Yeah, me too. I'm just not fading myself. I'm just not doing that anymore. I think it's a waste of money. I feel like if you feel like that person's gonna win, then just put your money on them. That's how I'm thinking now.
All right, a couple other things I want to get to before this podcast is over.
Yeah, there he is. Moicano, I mean.
So we can keep looking at the pod bet. I think everybody kind of gets what we're going for it anyway, and we're going to be posting on Twitter like what we finalize.
Yeah.
But there's a couple other things I want to talk about. So, UFC 274, Gilbert Burns versus Khamzat Chimaev. Official. Officially official.
Chimaev.
I think Chimaev's going to win. I definitely think that. But I think it's going to be much better fight. It's going to be a 3-round fight. It's probably just going to be 1.5.
It's like betting an over in hockey, man. You can't overthink it. The guy's just going to pick him up and slam him.
After Chimaev beats Burns, he's next in line for a title shot. You got Chimaev.
I'm hammering him.
You got Chimaev, and you have Vicente Luque, who's been on a 4-fight win streak too, top 4 contender. But if Chimaev wins, he's catapulting there. Dana White wants to give him a shot.
Oh, yeah.
And he is the biggest threat to Usman, for sure. Chimaev says that once he beats Usman for his title, he wants to fight Adesanya for his title, too. What do you think of that?
Adesanya, Cole,
think,
yeah.
You think Chimaev can beat Adesanya?
Yeah, I do.
I'm not ready to give this guy the best MMA fighter in the world yet. I'm not. Like, I get that he was super impressive.
That's Kamaru Usman.
I know. No, I totally know.
Oh yeah, in two fights, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he beats Usman. First of all, I don't see it, man. What's Chimaev gonna do? Is he gonna wrestle Usman?
He could punch him in the face and knock him out.
Usman could too.
Shit. I mean, like you could say that about any fight, but you're talking about a champion, the pound for pound best, and just this guy who just literally came out of left field, dude,
through Sweden.
You know what I mean? Like, he's undefeated,
10-0.
He makes it look easy.
He's had
he doesn't
two
even
first
really
round finishes in his last two fights. Knockout and submission.
Yeah, I mean...
Put Li Jingliang out cold. And he also knocked Gerald Meerschaert out cold.
Yeah, I mean...
But, like, he's taking an even steeper ramp of competition than, like, Conor did. Like, Conor shot through the fucking rankings. Yeah. And Chimaev's gone, no name, about to be ranked, top 3.
Yeah. No, I agree. And, like, you're telling me he don't have a chance to knock out Usman? Like, you can't say Usman.
Oh, he absolutely does.
Like, he has really good wrestling, and I know he has a
very great wrestling.
A weird style to him, dude, that most people...
And he's
unpredictable, and I think
he's also crazy strong. Yeah. Like, you look at his body type, man. He's not skinny, but he's not buff, and he's ridiculously strong, and that's part of his wrestling background.
Very unpredictable, I think.
A lot of people have also said that he just has the best work ethic that they've ever seen.
Really? I did not hear that.
Like, his training, he trains for like 8 hours a day. He was a national champion wrestler in Sweden twice. He has great balance, but Burns is really good on the ground. Really good at jiu-jitsu. He's choked out a bunch of people. He's also knocked out Wonderboy and Tyron Woodley. I love Chimaev. I hope he wins. I hope we get a title shot between him and Usman. I'm just saying I think that he is going to get a rude awakening sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Lightning suck, huh? Tampa Bay Lightning suck. We need the Edmont Oilers tonight. Oilers, I've sprinkled a little Montreal Canadiens money line plus 320.
Aren't they the worst team in the league?
Yeah, but they're on a tear recently.
Oh, okay.
They're already on a tear. But the over in that, I think the over 6 in the Montreal Canadiens, lock. The Flames are hot. Canadians are hot.
Okay, we're.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying my picks. Over 6, Minnesota Wild versus Flyers. It's 2-2 end of the first right now. Over. Senators versus Panthers. Over 6.5, bro. It's a lock. They just score.
Okay.
Just score goals. Yeah, I already said that one. I bet the same ticket twice. Rookie mistake. So we're really hoping for this one tonight. Minnesota Wild over, that's a lock. This is a weird one. This is one I like. Listen up, people. Arizona Coyotes. First period money line. Plus 230.
Cool.
Coyotes, they're hot. They're back to back 3 home games in a row, I think. Or at least back-to-back home games. They were the underdog the other night. They won 4-1. And they've won 2 games before that, or a game before that.
The last thing I wanted to mention before we finish up with the pod bet is Cain Velasquez. I think that's worth 5 minutes of time on the podcast to talk about. Have you been seeing what's going on?
About what?
Cain Velasquez.
I think it's a shame.
I think it's a damn shame. So
Damn shame. Putin, if you're listening, which I know you are, to this podcast, you're the only one listening right now. Release him. Thank you.
what?
Putin.
Cain Velasquez isn't being held by Russia.
Yes, he is. He's in jail, bro.
Yeah, in America.
In America?
Yeah.
Oh, what was the guy that was fucking... There was like a former heavyweight champion in Ukraine. He was like defending his... Are you sure?
Yeah. He's not in Ukraine.
I don't know. There's some former...
I think you're getting two stories mixed up. Yeah, Cain Velasquez, the former UFC heavyweight champion, was charged for attempted murder for shooting at a car in which inside the car was a guy who had molested a family member of Cain's, or reported over 100 times. So he was shooting
shot a man while targeting another.
Yeah. The man who he shot was the stepfather of the guy he was aiming for, who was in the same car. So reports came out and said that Cain Velasquez was chasing him by car for 11 miles.
Yeah, I'm reading it right now. Yeah. Damn, no. I think I was thinking like the former boxing heavyweight champion.
Yeah, not Lomachenko. What the fuck is his name?
He's in jail.
Vasil. Is it Lomachenko? It's not.
No, I don't know.
Oh, that's gonna piss me off. The heavyweight brothers that Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder beat. Oh my god, how can I not think of this guy's name? Klitschko. The Klitschko brothers.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they're fighting for the Ukrainian army. But yeah, Cain Velasquez is being brought on charges of attempted murder. The names are not coming out of any of the other people. Obviously, dude, they should fucking let Cain go. Fuck it. I get the precedent that they can't. I totally get that.
Depends upon the other person feels about it. How would you feel if you got shot?
How would you feel if someone was raping your daughter?
Yeah, and I got shot because of it? Nah, fuck you.
No, you're right. You're 100% right. And
I don't want to get
attempted
shot.
murder. You can't shoot at people. You deserve to be in jail. I get that. But just for shits and giggles, like, let's fucking let him go. You know? And it sucks. Everybody's come out in huge support of Cain. This is the type of shit. Ready for this? Are you listening?
Yeah, I'm listening. I can listen and
feel
look at
like
this.
Cain Velasquez, in 2 years' time, will be pardoned by Joe Biden.
Yeah, we'll see. If Joe Biden can fucking remember.
But
That's
shout
what I
out
gotta
to
say
Cain.
about that.
Shout out to Cain. It's an unfortunate situation, and I hope he does well, and I hope everything goes well for him,
Joe
because
Biden
it's
needs to.
terrible what happened to him.
Joe Biden need to remember his name, bro.
All right. Last thing we're saying, and then we're getting out of here. If you could... Ready?
Got Tampa Bay on 2 of these, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready.
What are we doing for the pod bet? Are we adding those 3 other people from next week, or are we just going with the couple on this card? Mind you, we still have bets from last week.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I have a $200 bet that has Makhachev and Holland and Colby.
Yeah, well, you gotta ride Holland and Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
How much is that to win? 200? Is it
I
even?
doubt it. It's probably even, if not in the negatives. Because minus 280 and minus 340. They've really switched odds, too. And it's also going to...
Kobe,
It's
Holland.
going to depend on if we can add these over-unders to a parlay.
The motherfucker's winning. I just got a feeling he's gonna win.
I would rather
Colby-
throw Mitchell on it.
Kobe, Holland, Mitchell, under 4.5. And... Yeah.
That's really it.
And
That's
if you
really all I
want to
got.
put Umar, or if you want to put the under in that one.
Nurmagomedov is a decent shout. If the over-unders come out, I would love to put the under in that. I think that's a solid bet.
For the pod bet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nurmagomedov,
agree.
Kelleher.
I agree. So, Kobe under, Holland under, Mitchell.
But
That's a good lay.
If
dude.
we can
it's
fucking...
a good 5-team lay. No, you'll be able to. You'll be able to. Even if we gotta wait until Saturday, we'll go Saturday.
Right. Xiaonan is the one other person I'm going to look at. I'm going to put a lot of bets on Xiaonan. All right, that's the pod bet.
Yeah, all right.
4 of the last 6, so we're going to try to continue this shit. 5 of 7 coming soon. I'm not as confident as I was last pay-per-view. I got to be honest with you. 271, I was really confident in that pod bet. And this one, I feel like these fights could go any fucking way, dude. Like, there's so many.
They want you to feel like that, but you know Kobe's winning. You know Kobe's winning.
Okay.
Mazadov's kind of on his way out, dude. What has he done since he kneed Askren? Nothing.
He beat Nate Diaz.
My doctor stoppage in the BMF belt. Come on.
Right.
Respect. He hasn't done nothing. He couldn't even... I mean, he went 5 rounds with Usman,
but he didn't
then he
win
got
any of the rounds.
none of the rounds. And
then
it was
he
7-day notice, 9-day notice, or whatever.
Right. And then he lost to Usman by finish.
Kobe's winning.
But what has Kobe done? You know what I mean? Kobe had a better fight against Usman.
More active, I think. Better fighting.
I don't think he's more active.
Overall, he's better. I wouldn't necessarily say maybe stand up, but
Kobe just has.
He knows what he's doing.
He just has the pressure. Kobe will just stay on you for 5 fucking rounds. He's throwing 50%, 50%, 50%, takedown, 50%, 50%, the whole fucking time.
And I think if Kobe can... if Kobe can get a takedown in the first round, it's his fight. If you can get him on the ground and not even... Dude, he's a good striker, man. Like, he was at AFK. I mean, he knows what he's doing. ATT. He knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't really had a loss. When's the last time he had a bad loss?
Who?
Kobe. I mean, you say
I don't know if he's ever had one. I don't know if he's ever had a bad loss, because I think both of the fights with Usman were really fucking close.
Yeah. And I'm not, it's going back on bets, I'm hip to laying the hammer on a lot of favorites too, dude, for plus 244. Like, I think that's a lay. And I'm not opposed to betting Jan. Even though I think she's going to use
money on Jan. Because if she hits and these locks hit, we're looking at money.
Yeah.
I already have Jan on a bunch of parlays anyway.
Yeah, I hope these tickets hit, but it ain't looking good for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
All right, that's going to do it. Everybody, please make sure you check out our live reaction stream when we go live 10 p.m. on Saturday, March the 5th for UFC 272. We're going to be going all the way through the main event of Masvidal Covington. It's going to be a really, really great card. So make sure you guys check it out. Make sure you follow us on our Twitter. We're going to be tweeting all about our bets for the next couple days leading up right into the show and through the pay-per-view itself. Our YouTube channel's gotten a couple subscribers lately, so go follow us on YouTube.
Have we?
Complete Podcast, yeah.
Woo-hoo.
And our Twitter at complete_MMA. And that's going to do it. Episode 85 in the books. 2 months till 100. 2.5 months till 100.
Yeah, I'm about it.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We're out of here. Have a good night. See you on Saturday.